let's talk about something kind of serious that too many people might be afraid to admit. I'm speaking for the women here. Women withholding sex. And I don't just mean withholding it to punish or control their partner. That happens, sure, but often there's way more going on under the surface. Here are the most common reasons. Number one is the psychological pressure and stress. When a woman feels overwhelmed by work, motherhood, or daily life, her nervous system is in survival mode.
And I think that's a very, very key important factor, especially when you juggling even work, or even if you are a stay-at-home mom and the kids, you're dealing with self-conscious feelings about how you look physically. You may be going through a postpartum. A lot of different issues come up about trauma. You can be experiencing insecurity factors in regards to your husband or just life overall in general. And I think that with women being overall emotional creatures or whatever, I think that this type of thing hits them twice as hard than it would a man as far as sexual desires or sexual appetite.
Takes the back seat. It's not that she doesn't want her man. She is disconnected from her own body because her mind is drowning. Number two is unresolved trauma. A lot of women carry sexual trauma, body image issues, or experiences from their past that create subconscious blocks. Without healing or open conversation, intimacy can start to feel unsafe, even with a loving partner. Number three,
And that's the thing about the psychological and the trauma part. And I think this is the grassroots of a lot of divorces that happen later on after a woman has gotten married, had one or two or three kids, and been married for a while. I think that a lot of trauma that pre-existed that marriage or that relationship was never addressed, never, talked about, never, went through in a meaningful way to kind of get past it. And I think it kind of snowballs and snowballs, and ultimately it ends up that the women are emotionally checked out of the marriage or the relationship, and hence that's why the number of divorces that are prompted by middle-aged and older women are just sky high right now. I think that's a grassroots of that problem, because these women will let these feelings and trauma fester and linger and don't get help for it.
resentment and disconnection. When emotional needs aren't met, whether it's lack of appreciation, constant criticism, or just feeling unseen, a woman will shut down sexually. Sex becomes another chore instead of an act of love. Number four,
And that's the thing about that. Like, I think that women put too much emphasis on a man fixing their emotional problems or their issues on whether or not they feel loved and cared for. Women need to understand that men are not emotional like women. So you can't expect every man to be loving on you and rubbing on you and petting you and being so sensitive to every little thing that bothers you. That's just not how a man is wired. And that doesn't mean that the man don't love you and the man don't care about you and the man don't want to be with you. It's just that most men are not the loving, caring type of man. Like, you may, if you got a beta, you'll get that from a beta, but you got to give and take. That beta gonna give you that love and caring, but he not gonna be that leader or that, give you that masculine energy at the same time. So it's kind of like a catch 22 where you got to give and take on something. But women need to understand that men are not the emotional be all fix all for a lot of problems and issues they have. A man is there to help mitigate or help you get through some of the things you are processing. He is not there to fix them.
using sex as power. And yes, some women weaponize sex. They hold it back to manipulate, to gain.
This is the real one we need to get into right here, because this is the biggest one that ruins and ends a lot of relationship, when the vindictive nature kicks in and women intentionally hold sex from their men to try to hurt them in some type of way. The thing is when it comes to sex, the way men perceive sex and the way women perceive sex is two totally different things. Men having sex is also a stress relief. It relieves pressure. It does a lot more for a man to be able to have sex than a woman. But the woman don't understand it because she is oftentimes looking at it from her perspective and her perspective only.
Leverage or to punish their man. But the truth is, when you do this, you're not in control. You are sabotaging the relationship. Some things that women don't realize is that physical intimacy isn't just sex, it's connection, it's bonding, it's how your man feels desired, respected, and close to you. When you withhold it, whether intentionally or unintentionally, you're creating a wall, and that wall grows until the relationship starts to crack or fall apart. The answer isn't.
And that's the thing, like, even with men and women, over time, resentment or divisiveness or divisive type issues that come up in a relationship, they both begin to grow away from each other and apart from each other. And the sexual intimacy actually helps hold and hone and harness relationships. Even if the man really don't want to do it sometime, or even if the woman don't want to really do it sometimes, and sometimes it's like you kind of have to make a sacrifice, so to speak, to maintain that level of intimacy in a relationship. Because what it does is if you, when you all are pulling apart emotionally, even if both of you reluctantly have sex, it gradually pulls you back every time you have sex, if it's done in a consensual way. And a lot of couples don't realize the power dynamic of having a good sexual relationship in a marriage, or whatever you want to call it, engagement or whatever. People don't realize how important it is.
Shame, the answer is communication. If you're struggling mentally, emotionally, or physically, say it, speak up, be vulnerable, let him in, because intimacy isn't just about the body, it's about trust. A relationship can thrive on almost anything, but it cannot survive without intimacy. So stop shutting down and start opening up, because when you choose to withhold instead of communicate, you're not protecting yourself. You are destroying the bond that you claim you want to keep.
And to piggyback on the communication key, when you are having sexual relations with your partner, if you all can somehow communicate verbally about what you like or she likes, or she tells you what she likes, or you, if you talking, or using certain phrases or whatever during that time, it is actually very good and important, because that's a form of communication while you are in that act. And ultimately, that will make that act even stronger, hence bringing the bond of between these two greater, stronger, better and bigger. And a lot of people don't realize how important communication is during that act. We all know it's very important overall in a relationship. That's the number one key factor to keeping a good, rich, healthy relationship. But nonetheless, please like, subscribe, comment down below what you all think about this situation.
Let's talk about something kind of serious.